Today I want to look at font sizing, specifically for Amazon, specifically focused on your main images, your A+, and what those minimums are. Obviously, one of the key things at Amazon is your text actually visible in search? And that's become a really big topic over the last year of if these big keywords aren't visible in search, then you're naturally less likely to get the click. And that comes down to the actual font size. But then different fonts can come up in different sizings. So we need to actually go a little bit more than that. And that's something we've been looking at and we'll continue to look at this month of, is there actually a height of the particular font in question, the copywriting or the text in question, to take up the whole page. So if we take this example, for instance, this font is 64.15 as a heading, and this one is then 80, and this is then 80. We know from our research that this font here, Recollet Alt, is appearing really well in search. Brilliant. But then if we change that font, what we're going to find is it actually may no longer appear because it comes a lot smaller or it's a lot lower weight. So therefore we need to think past just actually the font size and go a little bit deeper and go, well, how high is this font? And if I flick over to another example I've just done recently with regards to this, if we think about heading 1, this is a 75 pixel open sans. How much of this whole screen does it actually take up? And it's probably around about 10% if we duplicate that a few times there. You know, how many times can we essentially fit this in? And that gives us a rough idea. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 1/15 of the page. And that is then visible in this case. And we want to start building out this process of when is a text essentially too small? And when do we kick it out? And we then apply that across all of those infographics. The simple rule of thumb is if we hold a mobile phone a foot away from our face, are we still able to read all the text? So the first image is 1. Naturally, we should be able to see everything on there, these big points we're looking to make sense of. But then when we come into the infographics, if we start zooming out, when does it then become difficult to read? So our rule of thumb for this was 40, I believe. And 47 on some others. And here I think we went as low as 30, 33 basically, and we still found that was visible. And these are rules of thumb you want to do at the start of your project, because that is the point of when you're bringing all the brand guidelines into one place. And those brand guidelines will be for main images and your infographics, and the brand guidelines will also then, from a font perspective, a text perspective, apply to your A+ premium, your storefronts, and your brand stories to see what is visible, what are those requirements, because what we also then want to achieve is consistency across all of our designs. So we know that this might be a heading 2, and this being a little bit bigger might be, okay, let's say that's bigger. So this one might be heading 3, this one might be heading 2. Okay, and that here might be paragraph 2, whereas this might be paragraph 1. And this is where we're looking to create consistency across everything that we do. So all of the designs look and feel the same, like they are from the same brand. And they've gone through that process at the very start of, is this text going to be visible? Is it going to be readable? And that is one of the first things we do, is we create those brand guidelines based on the client's initial guidelines, but maybe we tweak them just slightly to go, is this going to work for Amazon? And that's not just for your main images, as you can see here, but as we come down, if my mouse is not being too playful, boom, 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 we then come through to the A+, and the logic is exactly the same. So this is 25. I think we still found this was visible, but it was maybe a bit of a stretch. And the exact same premise applies of when do we go, this isn't actually visible anymore. So in this case, we might go the contrast a little bit high, 25 is okay, but it's been signed off. So not just for your A+, not just for your infographics, every single asset needs to have that set of brand guidelines. When we then come into mobile, how does that change? And that's one of the things we're focusing a lot on at the moment, of creating these essential rules which we live by. And whenever we start a new project with a client, we then go in, create the brand guidelines, and ensure that that is what we're sticking to throughout the whole project. So every piece of A+, every piece of brand story, every infographic we put out is not only consistent, but also readable. And we don't then need to make that decision again. So this is what would be called in the design world a design token, where you in essence make a decision once and then you use it again and again. So in this case, the design token for your hero image for Pommy was you have these widgets like this. Okay, this is the style. We've got a corner radius of whatever. Not actually showing on that. But you see we've got a corner radius here. That is a design decision. We've made it that corner radius, which for some reason I can't see at the moment. And that is what we're going to stick to. Equally, the font size being 80, that is a design decision that we want to make once rather than again and again and again. And that in essence is what we're aiming for. So at the start of the project, we build out these design tokens. Those design tokens do then evolve slightly throughout time if we are brand new to it. But by the end, what this means is when we come back to work on Pommy again, let's say, we then have the ability to go back to all those design tokens, and it's going to be so much faster because we're not making a decision again and again and again. We've made it once, we stick to it. So a couple of points I'm talking on there: design tokens, minimum font sizes. And it's just something that you can stick to within your designs, and it's going to make it so much faster and more efficient, especially then if you bring a new designer into the fold. You, let's say, hire a freelancer or hire a new agency. You go, well, here are my guidelines, my tokens, follow them. You can't go wrong on Amazon. Everything's going to work perfectly. The communication with that designer is going to be that much easier. All right, I'm going to keep on this series, going to keep sharing videos as we keep working with our new designers and onboarding more and more of them. I'm going to keep sharing everything that we're passing on to them.